Tap that subscribe button and keep it locked here to Secrets to a Free Mind show with your host, Melanie Parker, powered by Quality Girl. In this episode, we'll hear from a licensed therapist on ensuring mental wellness for your family as a whole. Keep it locked. Welcome back. I'm Melanie Parker, founder of Quality Girl and your host of Secrets to a Free Mind show, where we help you free your mind, move forward in life. Shout out to Mike Horn at Mike Like Poetry on Twitter for co-designing the cover art and composing the beats. In addition to listening to this podcast, be sure to tap the thumbs up icon, subscribe button, and bell icon to love us, follow us, and receive clips via Twitter on episodes. Let's welcome Leslie Hardy. Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Melanie.
So, we met you 2 months ago in March during the episode Loving the Unlovable Children. For those who didn't listen to that same episode, please share a little bit about yourself.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me back. It is truly my pleasure. As you said, I'm Leslie Hardy. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and went to school here at North Carolina State University, also UNC Chapel Hill. Love life. Grew up with a family of my mom, my dad, my brother, younger brother, and I am a solo parent. I have a young adult son who is 29. Cannot believe I have a child that old, but I do. We have a great relationship, and I just love the Lord. So I'm enjoying life and blessed to be here.
Wonderful. Great to have you here today. So tell us more about your profession.
Well, I am a mental health, behavioral healthcare professional, a licensed clinical social worker, a licensed clinical addiction specialist, a marriage and relationship educator. I am a helper. I'm a healer. I love helping people kind of transition and transform into better versions of themselves, if you will. And so I know I'm called to heal and help, and I look forward to doing it every day in whatever capacity that I can.
Okay, well, we're excited to hear what you have to say. Everyone wants their family whole and well, and we're going to definitely get into the heart of that discussion. So what is the first step to identifying the root cause of family dysfunction?
That is a good question, and it's also a complex one. And I say that because when you start talking about and examining a people group, even a family, there are many factors that can come into play. So you have to consider the specific, family members themselves, their ages, their characteristics, behaviors, their attitudes, their beliefs, their experiences, and all of that, because every individual makes up a family unit. So then you have to really assess, how do those individuals function together? What's their family dynamic? And so when you consider all of that, I would say that one's awareness and honesty may be the first factors in identifying the root cause of any family dysfunction, because you can't really address what you don't acknowledge.
True.
So you have to first be aware of that fact, and then, there's some type of acknowledging, there's some type of measure of functionality to the family, just being honest about that. That's when we can really begin to identify its root. You examine the fruit, and then you trace it back to the root.
So true. Now, which signs should one be aware when dealing with dysfunctionality in a family or individual?
Great question. I think the signs can range, but short answer is any type of behavior that is emotionally, spiritually, financially, mentally, physically harmful, abusive, or counterproductive to any individual member and their well-being could be a sign for the family. Because again, when you talk about the family, you have to consider all of the individual members in the family unit because they impact and influence each other.
True.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I'll add this too. So perhaps some of the most obvious and prevalent signs that people can look for would be a change in behavior, a change in their mood, or any change in their cognitive function.
Yes, yes. Now, would one consider the different factors, such as environmental factors, the dynamics between the relationships within the family, and also any background of type of rearing factors? Those also considered as well.
Yeah, that gets back to their experiences. You know, so we all may have different experiences along life, and all of our experiences informs and influences, you know, who we are as individuals. So those things have to be considered as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. So which behavioral modification strategies would you practice in this situation?
Well, one thing I want to say is, you know, behavior modification is used to strengthen behavior, to stop an inappropriate behavior, to develop a new behavior, to maintain an established behavior, and to modify maybe an emotional behavior. So some strategies that I might employ when addressing family dysfunction is, again, to try to engage the family to determine if there is agreement on what the problem is. Because, you know, you have to be in agreement to address the problem at the root cause, you know, like we kind of referenced before. And then I would offer healthier, more positive alternatives to address whatever the need is that this behavior is stemming from. So doing something to stop if there's inappropriate behavior, to stop the inappropriate behavior, replacing it with something that's healthier and more positive, and then reinforcing that new behavior, that new choice.
Okay, definitely. I was just thinking of that positive reinforcement.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we're kind of rewarding or encouraging where there is a positive step in development.
Absolutely.
Or
because
change.
The truth is, yeah, Melanie, because you and I both know that, you know, what you reward, what you feed into, what you nurture, you see more of.
That's true. That is
and that's
so true.
exactly what we want to do. We want to reinforce what we want to see more of.
Now, on the flip side of that, Leslie, what about those personalities or those who, when you do reward them and you do encourage them, they keep continuing on thinking that, okay, you know that cliche, you give a person an inch, they'll take a yard. So, and that happens so often with those who are emotionally unintelligent or emotionally immature. So what happens when you do encourage them on one end, but yet they take a yard on all the other things? So how do you?
That is a great
how you deal
question.
With that?
And I would say we would have to go back and re-examine, well, what's the real root cause? Because one thing I often say is every behavior is driven by a need. So
That's
you really
true.
have to understand what is the need that the behavior is trying to meet. So, you know, the need may be legit, but the behavior may be inappropriate. So if you can understand what the need is, then you can better address it. And that's how I would, you know, really approach that. So if you're missing the target, or if you're, you know, trying to interact with someone and you feel like they're taking advantage, or like you said, try to give them an inch and they take a yard, then I would say there's something else going on there that's fueling that behavior. And it sounds like insecurity here, honestly.
That is true. That is true. And also, let's park there for a sec, because sometimes in examining or even, you know, hearing conversations with people, and also remembering hearing other people make the statement with their children, which is also part of the family dynamics. I've found that when parents encourage, or if they encourage the child by comparing that child to another or another sibling, like saying, you're just as good as they are, you're smarter than they are, why are you worried about? And when you do that, when you start to initiate that comparison between them and other people, they'll go through life trying to compare, looking to the left or to the right, and they'll use tactics at, jabbing away or chipping away, or they're using an excuse. I need to knock them down a peg or two. And they'll do that in order to win. And that's a condition a habit, if you will, that they've started from that supposedly positive reinforcement in their mind. So how do you get people to be aware of, okay, you don't go through like competing. That's unhealthy competition to win. Because when you focus on being the best that you can be, there's no contenders with you. You have no contenders, and you can just move forward, and you won't be tripping over your own destiny.
Absolutely. So I would say to that, Melanie, and I've heard somebody say this quote, and I don't even remember who it was now, but comparison is the thief of your identity. Because when you start comparing yourself to someone else, you are basically saying that you are not good enough.
That's right.
And we all have been made to be the best we are, because that's all we can be.
That's right.
Anything outside of that is only the second best copy of someone else.
That's true. That's true.
And so, although like you were giving the example of parents who may compare their kids, I really, really encourage parents not to do that. To really look at each individual child and to the attributes of that child without comparing them to anybody.
Yeah.
Because the only person that they can live up to is who they are.
That's right.
It takes the focus off of the greatness within themselves. So comparison is the thief of your own identity.
That's so true.
That's really one of the most detrimental things I think that can happen to a person's identity, is to compare themselves, to look outside of themselves for definition of who they are. I
do, and I love that quote. You definitely got to make that a signature. I love it because it's so. And I love the analogy of if you look to the left or to the right. If you're driving and you keep looking to the left or the right and not looking down the road, you're gonna have an accident. You're not gonna get that far. But if you keep focused on with foresight, vision on what you need to do, you're gonna be so much further than what you could only imagine.
Absolutely.
So there's no room, there's no need for competition. There's no need.
Right.
I love it. Yeah. So how do you help families conduct self-assessments?
That's a good question. So one of the things that I do is I have the families to determine their own baseline, if you will. So that means, how do you, if you had to assess yourself, how would you rate yourself individually and collectively as a family? And I usually give them a scale of like 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. And I ask them to rate themselves across all of the main areas of life. So as it relates to family relationships and connectedness, how well do you feel like you do with that? Your emotional well-being, how well do you feel that you all do each other in terms of caring for each other? Just your synergy, your dynamics. Creating that work-life balance between work and school, or work and home, and then school and home for the children. How well do you take care of your physical health? How well do you all engage socially? Do you have things that you do outside of just go to work, come home, go to school, come home, sit down and have dinner? Is there ever any fun? Is there recreation in your family? Spiritually, obviously, that is a component as well. And then also, just in terms of physical safety and provision, how well do you all do that in terms of financially and managing, being good stewards over what you have?
Right.
And so, in terms of the family assessment, I would say for each individual to assess themselves and then to assess the unit of a family. And then just kind of compare that, sit down, really have conversation around, well, why did you give it a 5 versus why did you give it a 5 out of 10? And talk about, and then ask yourself, well, if I gave a category of 5, what would it take? What could change that would cause me to grade it from a 5 to a 6, or go from a, 6 to a 7? Put measurable things in place, behavioral things in place. To kind of monitor and assess your progress, if you will. But identifying a baseline first, so you can have some point of measure to then grow from.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What should families do as a whole?
Well, I would say know thyself and take care of yourself. And that looks different from person to person.
Right.
So, every family is different. And again, like we were talking about before, the comparison thing. Obviously we have an established norm of somewhat, and if it's just what we imagine, ourselves.
Right.
But if you know yourself, and we've all had various experiences, different degrees of loss, different degrees of, just different impacts of life. And so you have to consider those things. But find ways to enjoy your time alone with yourself,
right,
as well as time together as a family. And I think, one of the things right now, at this particular day, we're in the midst of this pandemic. And so because of it, a lot of people have found themselves, I think almost everybody across this country, at least, have found themselves in a shelter-in-place situation where they've had to spend time with people that they maybe never have spent this much time with ever in their life, consecutively. And so you've gotten to know things. You've got to know things about each other and get reconnected in ways, some good and some not so good. And so I really thought and encouraged people to think of this as a time of reset.
Right.
When you talk about,
perfect,
emotional wellness, we've all been given a reset opportunity.
That's right.
So this is a time where you can redefine how you want your family to be, how you want your family to look. And so I would say some things that, families can do even toward their emotional wellness is find those common things together. Play card games, play board games. You can each individually journal about your own experience, especially right now. Finding a good book that even the whole family can read together. I know for myself, I love music. So listening to music, dancing, going for a walk together.
Right.
Make up your own games.
Yes.
In a great way.
Creativity. Be creative.
Absolutely.
This is the perfect time to be creative. Perfect time.
It is. It absolutely is. And, I would even say, because this is a good time to reset, I think a lot of people have had the opportunity to really assess how they've lived their life up to this point, and then what do they want the rest of their life to look like.
Right.
And so, like you were saying, being creative and stepping outside the box. Who put us in the box anyway? Step outside the box and live your life.
Don't let anyone put you in a box.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I remember telling someone, you don't have a box big enough to put me in. I mean, you have to know, that goes back to identity.
Yeah.
What you spoke about earlier. And I love this reset. I love this topic that you created for us today. Reset your life. That's exactly what's going on. I believe it's revival. This is revival. We don't need to try to manipulate God's hand and get him to push it forward, push the time. This is revival, and just receive.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, people have second chances to, like you said, reset their life from here forward. Think about what your life. Have some foresight about your life. You are the prophet of your life. You're the driver of your destiny.
Come on now, that's right.
And we have to know that.
Yes.
Girl, don't get me started. Look.
Okay. I've been trying to be good over here.
Trying to sit down. Oh my God, honey. Woo. We are the prophets of our own lives. Don't give nobody a mic for that. Don't give nobody a mic for that. You take the mic.
Absolutely.
Leslie, any resources you'd like to share with us?
So, I would say, I tell everybody, YouTube and Google are your friends. Utilize the resources that we pretty much all have available to us. But some other resources that people may find helpful right now in this season, I would say download apps that can help you in this season, especially for those who may still be in a semi-shelter-in-place situation. There's an app called Moodfit.
Oh, I like it.
Really, it's free.
Okay.
I encourage everybody to check it out. Now, there are tons of apps out here, so I'm just going to mention that one. You can research others, but Moodfit is a great app. And then there's also a site called GriefShare, griefshare.org.
Oh, I like it.
I know a lot of people have experienced various types of loss during these last couple of months. Some unfortunately have experienced the loss of a loved one, but for many, many more people, millions of people have lost jobs. And that's a form of loss that, some people may not really understand the full impact that it can have on a person. Not to mention the ramifications from losing a job, which we're all experiencing in terms of financial and that kind of thing. So griefshare.org is the site that can really help address some of the aspects of loss that people may be going through right now. I mentioned my own book, Melanie, Prepare for a Purpose, Embrace the Process. It is a book that I wrote to really help people understand who you are and why you are where you are right now in your life. And it's really helped to help people gain insight and wisdom to better transform their lives, be in a position to transform their lives. So, yeah, there are lots of resources out there. Those are just a few that I wanted to share. Again, I encourage everybody to just, type in Google for different aspects of whatever it is you may be wanting to address right now.
Oh, great resources. Thanks for sharing those. Thanks for sharing those, Leslie. We had a wonderful time talking with you today. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Love it.
Join us next week for the episode, Secret Scent of a Leader. All right. Remember, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Peace.